Good morning, yogis. All right, so if you like music, you get to play whatever you want, which is cool. And you can, even if it's, crazy train, who cares? Play whatever you want. And if you use a block or any other props, go ahead and grab those. Make sure you have a wall available. And nice to see you again. So we'll start in any seated position this morning. Hope everybody's doing well out there. So go ahead and close the eyes, and we'll just bring the awareness to the breath without changing anything. Notice where the weight of the body meets the floor. And notice all those little parts of the body that don't quite reach the floor. Maybe the knees are up, or there's space between the floor and the ankles, or however you're sitting. Just check in with all that little sacred space between you and the floor. And start to deepen the breath. And begin to breathe down into the lowest part of the ribs. As you inhale, allow the ribs to expand out to the sides. Maybe start to notice how there's pressure down in the abdominal cavity as the diaphragm moves down on the inhale. Nice deep inhale, and then a little bit of space between the exhale and the inhale. As you exhale, at the bottom of that exhale, use the low ribs and abdominal strength and start to connect that diaphragm moving vertically up into the thoracic cavity. So rather than just noticing this really incredible, start to connect with that vertical movement of that horizontal diaphragm. As you breathe fully, resist the temptation to move the shoulders and the upper part of the chest. Really take that breath a little bit deeper. Not like belly breathing necessarily, because we also need our bandhas later, but allowing for a more expansive experience, and also allowing that diaphragm to move more effectively, strengthening that muscle and increasing the function of the respiratory system. All with that little bit of space between each side. So that sacred space is the same as that sacred space between you and the floor, the sacred space between you and maybe the furniture or walls around you. We'll focus on that sacred space between each pose today as well. So who cares, how well you execute a pose or how deep you get into something, whatever. None of that really matters. Maybe what's interesting is how you get from one place to the next. If you can move gracefully and take your time and focus on rather than the performance of each shape. So it's this awareness and this breath that will keep with us through the practice this morning. Begin to actively push down into the floor through whatever part of the body is touching the floor. So for me, it's the tops of my feet, the sides of the legs, sit bones. You'll notice when you push down, that automatically lengthens the front of the body. Pretty easy. So that's what we'll do in every pose, push down through whatever part of the body is touching the floor as well. What if we develop these currents so effectively, this downward current that supports the upward current and this horizontal current of the breath? What if we can really master our relationship and the communication with these currents? What then? What if we trust them so much and what they need to such a degree that we end up just getting pushed around on the mat effortlessly? There's no more trying. You just kind of end up somewhere trusting these currents through each transition. What then? Go ahead and bring your hands together at your heart center. We'll chant one Om. Take a deep inhale. Namaha, yogis. Let's go ahead and make our way into child's pose. All right. Come back to that same push down through the shins, reach out through the fingertips. We'll start to walk the hands on over to the right side, start to push the opposite hip away a little bit. And breathe. Same way, breathe into both sides of the rib cage here. And forgive my allergies this morning. And walk the hands back to center, yogis, and on over to the other side. And walk the hands back to center. Make sure the hands are shoulder width apart or really wide enough for your butt to fit in between them. That's one of the few guidelines that I have in a yoga practice. Push through the shins and allow that to pop the torso up. Excuse me, and then exhale, sink the hips. Push through the shins and let that torso pop up, and inhale as you lean forward a little bit. And exhale, Balasana. Push and lift and lean. You can bring the gaze forward as you inhale. Exhale. Push through the shins and just notice how that's all you need to do to pop that torso up. There's no effort required, just a nice, strong downward current. Push and lift and lean and bring the gaze forward, yogis, as you inhale. And then you can kind of tuck that chin and sink the hips. Notice how the knees and the hands don't need to move at all. Keep the arms nice as you do this. Start to lift the pelvic floor. Push and lift and lean and inhale. And this time, exhale, bring the chin and chest. End up on the belly. Check that your knees and hands haven't moved. They should be right by your waist. Push and exhale now. Push and inhale now. Exhale, Ashtangasana. Pull the torso forward. Inhale, squeeze the elbows together behind you. And exhale. Push and inhale. Exhale, kind of pull back a little bit. Pull forward and inhale, maybe lift the thighs up. And one more time to child's pose. Exhale now. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift the thighs. Use the belly to lift the hips. Exhale now. So you'll notice that I'm not exhaling or inhaling till I'm all the way in the pose. This is important. So from here, you can kind of move the hips side to side, walk in place a little bit, maybe take one leg up behind you at a time. Check it out. Breathe the same way. We're not doing anything. There's no exertion. So breathe calmly. And start to walk the hands back to meet the feet. Keep the feet hip width apart or maybe a little bit wider. You can bend the knees. If that helps to keep the front of the body long, you can rest on the thighs if you like. Breathe. Move around in whatever way feels natural for you. Even here, you can kind of walk the hands to one side and then the other. And then go ahead and walk the hands toward the front of the mat. Come on into down dog. And from your down dog, inhale forward to a plank position. Let the shoulders go out past the wrists, please. Exhale, chaturanga or onto the belly. Your hands should be right by your waist. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. We'll do that a few more times at your own pace. I'm going to inhale now. I'm almost all the way in it. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So do that a few more times and make sure that your hands and feet don't wiggle around. So for me, it's easy to do that if I keep my toes tucked. And I know I'm going to stay in the same spot every time. And that's important. So keep doing that. Do it 3 more times at your own pace. And after that 3rd round, start to walk the feet up to meet the hands. So keep lots of space between your feet and the front of the mat. Bring the toes together, keep some space between the heels, and then start to push through the feet. Roll on up, 1 vertebra at a time. Come on up to standing. So we'll check in with this Tadasana. Push through the feet just as if you wanted to leave an imprint in the floor beneath the mat of the shape of each foot. The more you push, The more you can draw energy up, lift the arches, just like we did in the seated position, it naturally lengthens the body. Push, draw the kneecaps up, lift the thighs. All of this pushing and lifting is going to support that lift at the pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. You can draw the low belly in and up just slightly, lift the heart center, take the shoulders down and back, and then press the palms together actively. So that creates space in the armpit area and creates integration in the shoulder girdle. Same breath here. So Tadasana is a very active pose, not just standing around. You want to always be actively pushing and drawing energy up, actively pressing the hands together. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here so that you can begin to recognize all of these qualities, all of these elements in every pose you end up in today. You can remember how to push, how to lift, and how to breathe. If we did this for the next 60 minutes, this would be the most difficult class you've ever done. All right, yogis, let's go through a few rounds of Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach up overhead, push through the feet. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend the knees as much as you need to keep the spine long. Push. Inhale. Plant the hands, step or hop back to Chaturanga Dandasana, maybe onto the belly. Inhale. Use the belly to lift the hips. And exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. In this down dog, yogis, turn the heels out just enough so that they're out of view. Lift the pelvic floor and reach through the sit bones. That's all you need to do. If you have questions about what you should be doing with your shoulders, just try to touch the back of the room with your butt cheeks, and that's going to answer all of your questions. And on the next inhale, step or hop the feet up. Finish that inhale here. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bring the gaze forward, push and inhale. Come on, back up to vertical. And exhale. Inhale, push through the feet. Exhale, draw the low belly in and up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Keep that space in the armpit area. Inhale, reach through the heart center. And exhale, down dog. You can lift the toes up and make sure you're energizing the front of the legs, not just stretching the backside. On that next inhale, yogis, lift the hips nice and high, float the feet up, land softly. Make sure there's space between the heels. Exhale, Uttanasana. Push and inhale. Press the palms together actively. And exhale, Tadasana. Inhale. Exhale. Push and inhale. That just pops that torso up. Exhale. Exhale, lift. On the next inhale, bring the gaze forward, lift the hips, maybe all the way up to your handstand, yogis. Land softly. Exhale, use the belly to pull the torso in closer to the legs. Push and inhale, come on back up to vertical. And exhale. Nice work. Surya Namaskar B, sink the hips, inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana. Push and inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, right foot forward. Bring the gaze forward, push and inhale, warrior one. Plant the hands, step back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, down dog, left foot forward. Please do it better than I'm able to right now. Inhale, warrior one on the left side. Plant the hands. Exhale. Up dog. Exhale, down dog. On the next inhale, yogis, bring the gaze forward, hop the feet up, land softly. Exhale, Uttanasana. Sink the hips and inhale, Utkatasana. And exhale, Tadasana. Nice work. We'll do that 3 more times at your own pace. If you don't remember it, it's all right. I'll do them with you. Just kind of remember that what we're doing isn't what matters. Inhale. Just notice that space between each pose. And trust that you know more than you think you do. Three to 5 breaths in this down dog. Yogi's last round here. All the same elements, space between the heels, Mula Bandha. Space in the armpit area. Push so that everything is effortless. And we'll meet up in Tadasana. Close the eyes and take a few breaths here. And check in with the breath and with the beat of your heart. On that next inhale, yogis, reach up overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen. We'll meet up in down dog. However you want to get there, you can take a vinyasa or just step back. Yogis, from your downward face, inhale forward to a plank position. We'll open up to Vashisthasana so you're on the right hand. All right, so we're going to do this a few times. This first time around, you can keep the feet together or maybe stagger them, whatever gives you the most support. But if your feet are together, make sure the heels are apart. Same space in the armpit area. And exhale, take a vinyasa. We'll do that on the other side. Inhale forward and open up to Vashisthasana on the left hand this time. So you can also take one foot behind you or put it in front for a little more support. Hold the hips up nice and high. Mula Bandha. And exhale, draw the navel in and up as you lower down to Chaturanga. And we'll meet up in down dog. So from your down dog, inhale forward to a plank position. We'll open up to Vashisthasana again on that right hand. So any leg variations that you want to work on, you can take the leg straight up, hold on to the outer edge of the foot or the toe, or you can hold on to the knee or put the foot on the inner thigh. Push through the hand more and lift the hips up. So that push down is available to you through the hand. Let that downward current support the hips. If that leg is lifted, you can keep it lifted and take a vinyasa. And then we'll do that on the other side. Inhale forward to a plank position and come onto the left hand, Vashisthasana. Any leg variation. push through the hand more. Lift the pelvic floor more. That same conscious breath. And take a vinyasa, yogis. Nice work. From your down dog, inhale forward to a plank position. Open up to Vashisthasana on that right hand. So this time you can come into more of a back bend version. Lots of ways to do that. Take that top foot way back behind you. Or you can reach back behind you. Or more of a kind of a baby Kapinjalasana version. You can also do this with that bottom knee on the mat. Kick into the hand. Push. Space in the armpit area, even here. In whatever version you're in. If you're holding onto that foot, go ahead and release. If you're in a back bend version, come back to Vashisthasana first, and then take a vinyasa. No flinging from a back bend into down dog. None of that in this class, okay? Deliberate movement every time. So inhale forward to a plank position. We'll do that on the left hand now. So any version you are in, you can take that top foot back behind you. I'm giving my back a little bit of a break today, so you just stay with your practice. If you're holding on to that back foot, kick into the hand and pull back. And kick into that hand and really pull back with a hand. Creates that new bandha. Stay with it. Any back bend version you're in, come right back into Vashisthasana first. And then exhale to Chaturanga Dandasana and take a vinyasa, all right? We'll meet up in down dog. Okay, yogis, from your down dog, you can bring the gaze forward just between the thumbs, and then we'll start to just lift and lower the elbows here. So I want you to come all the way onto the forearms, and when you lift, you don't have to come forward, but use your bandhas and push through your buns. So you're gonna just kind of push toward the back of the room, so you end up in that nice angle of down dog, all right? So if your elbows aren't getting all the way to the floor, only go as far forward as you can, and in a place that it's going to allow you to get out of it by using your buns to push back, rather than like one at a time and then one at a time. Just go only maybe halfway and learn how to push back at an angle, not straight up to a push-up. Totally different dynamics here. All right, so do 3 more. Maybe you're only going this far, doesn't really matter, as long as you are teaching the currents how to do all the work for you, all right? And then you can come all the way onto the forearms here, yogis. Maybe lift one leg up, keep the gaze forward. And you can just start little hops, or lift all the way up to your forearm balance, Pincha Mayurasana. If your hands, so we're going to work on this a little bit today, all right? So if your hands naturally move toward each other once you're in this inversion, then start with your hands right where they want to be, all right? Instead of, worrying about this alignment that doesn't mean anything. If your hands end up here, then start there. And it just sends a different message to the body and the nervous system, all right? You can also practice with your palms together. It's also fun to do it with the palms facing up as well. All right, so we're going to stay upside down. If you want to go to the wall, go for it. If you're not kicking up at all in this, you can always walk the feet up the wall. Lift your hips high already. Take one foot all the way up and then bring the other leg up. Starting from down here and walking the feet up, that's just a nightmare. Just don't even do it. Lift your hips nice and high, get a leg all the way up, and then you can take that other leg up. Keep one foot on the wall. Don't try to balance if you're walking the feet up the wall, because you're just going to drop over that way, and then you're going to go through this whole thing about, I can't do this. And that is a really shitty place to be, all right? So always stay in that place where you are thinking, I can do this. This is awesome, okay? We'll stay here for about 1 more minute, upside down. If there are leg variations you're working on, you can always come into full lotus or play around with Garudasana legs or whatever. And breathe calmly. And then wherever you are, slowly make your way to child's pose. We'll just take maybe 1 breath rest here. Excuse me. And then we'll meet up in down dog. Just hop off the top of the back feet. Take a vinyasa. From your down dog, yogis, go ahead and bring the right foot forward. Go onto the outer edge of the back foot. Push and inhale, warrior 2. Push down through both feet. And keep the gaze just at the front, just at the tip of those front fingers, not out past them. Kind of create this little bubble from the front of your mat to the back. Keep you in your practice. On the next inhale, straighten the front leg, scoot the back foot up just a little bit, reach, and exhale, Utthita Trikonasana. Push through the back foot more. There are a lot of rules about this pose that I just don't subscribe to. I have kind of a little bit of a back bendy twist in this. That kind of that pain between 2 panes of glass thing, that's just dumb and doesn't really work. All you really have to do is push through both feet, not a lot of weight on that bottom hand. Push through the back foot more, lift the pelvic floor, create space in the armpit area. And that's going to help you find your own perfect alignment. Okay, yogis, bring the gaze to the toes if you like. Start to push and inhale, move the torso forward. That back leg will follow along for the ride. Ardha Chandrasana. Use both legs evenly. Push through that top foot more. And then on the next exhale, go ahead and level out the hips and the shoulders. Draw the low belly in and up, revolved half moon. And go ahead and reach back for that foot. Start to kick into the hand. Lift that thigh way up away from the floor. Then we'll start to bend that standing leg. Take that back foot over, slide the hand right along the top of that foot. So you're going to grab the outer edge of that foot, all right? Right into this squat. Push and breathe. And then on that next inhale, come right back up to a revolved half moon. Nice work, yogis. Just go ahead and release that back foot and let it land where it wants to naturally. It's not that far away. Right into revolved triangle. Make sure the back toes are pointing straight ahead and push through the feet. And then go ahead and bend that front leg, bring the back foot up to meet that front foot, and then bend both knees, side chair. And then we'll go ahead and come on into side crow, all right? So you want to lean the arms way out over to one side. Kind of lean into it versus twisting. If you twist into it, it's going to get that hip on the opposite elbow. We don't need that elbow at all right? Push, lift the hips nice and high. You can do this a few times. So what this does is it really teaches that relationship between the thigh and the arm, that it can do all the work. All right, so do that a couple of times. You can lift one foot up, lift both feet up maybe. Make sure your hands are wide enough apart, you know what, for your butt to fit in between them. So just like we had in child's pose at the beginning of class, okay? And then go ahead, and if you're in side crow or any leg variation, go ahead and take a vinyasa. We'll meet up in down dog. Nice work, yogis. From your down dog, go ahead and bring that left foot forward. Come onto the outer edge of the back foot. Push and inhale, warrior two. So weirdly enough, my injury is mostly on my left side, so that makes everything about my practice so different on this side. Thank God for yoga rehabilitating it. Push through the back foot more. Make sure you can lift the arch of the back foot. And push and inhale, straighten the front leg. Maybe you want to scoot that back foot up a little bit. You definitely want your feet closer together in Utthita Trikonasana than they are in Warrior Two. Maybe, I don't know. Push through the back foot more. Make sure there's not a lot of weight on this bottom arm, or if any. Push through the back foot more. And on that next inhale, yogis, move the torso forward, and that back leg's going to follow along for the ride. That space between Utthita Trikonasana and half moon is that push and that movement where all the magic happens. Keep this top leg active. Okay, yogis, level out the hips and the shoulders. Draw that belly in and up. We'll come into that revolved version. And breathe. And go ahead and reach back for that foot. Start to kick into the hand. Really get that thigh way up away from the floor. Take your time, kick and pull. And start to bend that standing leg. Slide the hand across the top of the foot so it comes, so you're grabbing the outer edge of the foot. And breathe. And then push through that left foot, yogis. Inhale right back up into revolved half moon. And bring that back foot down just where it wants to land naturally. And then push the hips back. It's going to give you that perfect length for a revolved triangle. Stay with a twist. Bring that back foot up to meet that front foot. Bend the knees. Parshva Utkatasana. And then lean out, plant both hands wide enough apart for your buns to fit. Push and lift a few times so you create that bandha between the outer edge of the thigh and the back of the right arm. Push and lift those hips up. So you're teaching those currents that they can do all of the work for you, right? Forget about the side crow itself. Think about what can you do in between in order to support it. So all those currents can do the work. Push and lift and be patient. It doesn't have to happen today. And if it does, if you're already in it, I'm just going to say do some leg variation. So why not take the time to really nail it with the energetics first? Push and lift. Take a few more breaths here. And then make your way through a vinyasa. All right, we'll meet up in down dog. Okay, yogis, from your down dog, you can go to the wall. We're going to work on some of our inversions again. So if you want to come back to Pincha Mayurasana, go for it. If you want to work on handstand, go for it. So if you're kicking up at the wall, then do whatever you're doing there. If you're walking the feet up the wall, lots of cool things. I really recommend that you get your hips high and take one foot all the way up. So if this is what you're doing, this top foot, just push into the wall and see what happens. So you don't have to think about upper body strength or what you can or can't do. Push into the wall and just see what happens. It's going to pick that other leg up. Push. You don't need to lift that other leg up. What defines a handstand or what defines forearm balance? Not two legs straight up in the air with the feet together, that's for sure. Okay, all the weight is on the hands. All the weight is on the forearms. So we'll stay upside down for a few minutes, all right? Any variations you're working on. If you're working on those drop overs that we did last week, go for it. So with these, you can do it in pincha or in your handstand practice. Just keep one foot on the wall and start to take one foot down. And you can figure out how close or how far away you need to be to the wall. All right? If you get one foot down, push through that top foot and the torso back up, or the legs. Push and follow that with the gaze, and that's going to bring everything right back to where you want to be. All right, so stay upside down, yogis. If you are using the wall, some great practices you can do is to start counting your breaths. So just that awareness back in the breath is going to naturally lengthen both sides. So start counting them and see how many good, calm, conscious breaths you can take while you're in your inversion, whether you're using the wall or not. All right? Even if you still have one foot on the wall, no big deal, or on the floor. Just keep counting your breaths, and that is going to start to increase the endurance in the physical body, but also in your energy body and in those currents. And in the nervous system, teaching the body that you actually want to stay in this inversion longer. So if you always kick up and tappity tap and come down, then you're really just teaching the body to kick up and tappity tap and come down. So we have to start giving it different messages. So we have to find ways to stay in it longer in a way that's sustainable and in a way that we can breathe calmly in. And that's what's going to start sending the right messages to the body and the nervous system that says, this is cool and I want to stay here longer. All right? So stay with it. And keep breathing. And last few breaths, wherever you are, meet up in child's pose. You can take a couple of breaths here. Okay, yogis, from your child's pose, go ahead and hop off the top of those feet again. End up in Chaturanga Dandasana, up dog, and then down dog. All right, nice work. From your down dog, you can simply come right onto the knees or do a little bit of a jump through, but land on the knees. Push through the shins and inhale, bring the torso up, and you can stay on the top of the feet in this dorsiflexion, or you can tuck the toes under for a little less distance to travel for Ustrasana. All right, so push through the shins, lift up out of the pelvis, reach back for the heels. And keep the hips right over the knees. Push through the shins and inhale the torso up, and you can exhale, sit on the heels or take a vinyasa. So we're going to do this a few times. Really want you to be conscious about pushing down through the shins. When you bring that torso up, push, and then reach back for the heels at the same time. Kind of don't do this twisting motion into it. Just forget that ever existed. Push, lift up out of the pelvis, and the back bend is going to start by lifting and pushing down. That's going to give all that freedom to the upper body. Reach back for the heels. When you come out of it, come out with both hands at the even, right? Push and inhale up. So you're not going to be twisting to come out of it either. Push and lift, and that's what's going to bring that torso up. So let's do that a few more times. If you are a yogi that likes to practice Kapotasana, where you're going to bring your hands all the way back, or if you're working on Laghu Vajrasana, where you reach back for the behind the thighs, you want to grab the hamstrings and you can bring the head all the way to the mat. You can also work on lifting and lowering here. You definitely want to push through the shins. Keep the head back. All right, so stay with it. We'll work on this for a little bit longer. I'm actually like super excited that I was even just able to do that. A little back. So stay with it. Any back bend you're working on. If it's camel, do it one more time. If it's Laghu Vajrasana, keep, when you exhale, drop back, push through the shins and inhale, and that's what's gonna lift the torso up, all right? So always stay with that breath and that push. And that's what's gonna teach the body what you're expecting it to do, all right? Good. And then wherever you are, if you're in Kapotasana, push and inhale, come on back up. Plant the hands, let's push off the top of those feet again. And take a Vinyasa. From your down dog yogis, inhale, jump through. And exhale, lie on the back. So bend the knees, plant the feet hip width apart. And push and inhale, lift up to either bridge pose or all the way into upward bow pose. Push. And breathe. And exhale, come on down, scoop that belly, let the sacrum come down last, take a 1 breath rest. And then push and inhale, bridge pose or upward bow pose. Push through the arms more if you're in bridge pose. And exhale, come on down. Take a 1 breath rest. And push and lift, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana or Urdhva Dhanurasana, up to you. When you lift, push toward the back of the room. That same direction that you push the hips in down dog or the buns, push toward that, in that same trajectory, toward the upper part of the back wall, not straight up. That's not the right dynamic. You want to push back. And exhale, come on down. Take a 1 breath rest. Push and inhale, lift. So in whatever back bend you're in, yogis, we're going to go ahead and take that left leg straight up. And bring that foot down and take that right leg straight up. Keep pushing into the floor. And bring that foot down. One more deep inhale. And exhale. Good, so we're going to do 2 more rounds at your own pace, any variations you're working on, all right? 5 breaths each round, with just a 1 breath rest in between. Nice, calm, deep breath. And exhale, come on down. And then last round, push. And after that last round, you can bring the knees to the chest if you like. Maybe take an easy twist one side and then the other, nothing too serious. And you can take a backward rollout, yogis, or roll all the way up and take a vinyasa. Nice work. And from your down dog, go ahead and inhale, jump through right into Navasana. You can keep the knees bent or straighten the legs. Whatever allows you to keep the front of the body long. Same space between the heels. And go ahead and reach for the toes or the outer edges of the feet. You can start to pull the legs a little bit closer to you. Scoop that belly, bend the elbows. Keep the legs active. And then take the feet wide. If you're holding on to the toes here, yogis, and you feel like you can land softly on the calves, go for it. If you feel like you're going to smack down on the heels, let go of the feet first. And we'll come into a forward fold. You can hold on to the toes or the outer edges. As long as you aren't pulling your feet in like this, make sure you've got that nice external rotation and the toes are straight up toward the ceiling. Still pushing down through whatever part of the body is touching the floor, yogis. And inhale, lengthen. Go ahead and cross the ankles and take a vinyasa. And inhale, jump through. And then exhale, lie on the back. And slide the feet away from you. Take the feet nice and wide. And take the arms wide. Relax the jaw. Close the eyes for Shavasana. Relax the jaw and let the tongue drop from the roof of the mouth. And smooth out that little space between the eyebrows. And let gravity take over. And slowly begin to bring the awareness back into the body. And back to the breath. Come back to that space between each side. And that little bit of space between the exhale and the inhale, where the mind is most calm and focused. Take time today to come back to this awareness. Everything you need is right here. Begin to move fingers and toes. And circle the ankles and wrists one direction and then the other. Roll the arms and legs in and out. Turn the head to one side and then the other. And take a big stretch up overhead. Stretch in whatever way feels natural for you. And hug the knees to the chest. Roll all the way over onto the left side. And all the way over onto the right side, yogis. And come on up to a seated position. Keep the eyes closed. Bring your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra, where we connect our everyday self with our infinite self. And we'll chant one Om. Take a deep inhale. Om. Allow a smile to spread across the face, yogis. We are all one. Namaste. Thank you for the privilege, and Waheguru. Fearlessness and mercy at all times. You got it.